Democrats have been working overtime to blame Republicans for the Schumer shutdown. Well, even though it's been happening for over 3 weeks now, Hakeem Jeffries finally got his first piece of pushback from the mainstream media. He was out there with his talking points, but the folks over at CNBC weren't having it.
What you are asking the Republicans to do right now, when they control the White House, the Senate, and the House, is effectively what the Democrats could not do when they controlled all three of those heads of government themselves. The 10-year setup for this, for these, or the 3-year setup for the expiration of these credits was intentionally put in. It was put in when you controlled the White House, the House, and the Senate. You couldn't get it passed for longer. And so this is a setup that kind of your own creation that you all couldn't extend beyond that. Now you want the Republicans to do something you didn't do when you were in power?
It's not a setup beyond what we could do. We extended the Affordable Care Act tax credits in 2022 for 3 years. The program is working. It's providing health care to tens of millions of people in an affordable way, and it should be continued. It's interesting to us that Republicans decided that they would prefer to permanently extend massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors in their one big ugly bill.
Obamacare is working. It's funny how every single promise that the Democrats have made about Obamacare, well, the exact opposite has been true. The exact opposite has been our lived reality. They said you could keep your doctor. No, millions of people lost their doctor. They said it would be cheaper. I mean, you don't need a degree, an advanced degree, or to be a rocket scientist to know that healthcare costs are through the roof. Heck, it's the Democrats who've been screaming for years, if not decades, that healthcare is too expensive. And I agree it is too expensive. We all could see that Obamacare was going to make the situation worse, yet they passed it. Guess what? Obamacare has made the situation worse, and yet they want to double down on all of this. And unfortunately, it's not just the ACA. This affects all aspects of healthcare. Even if you're a senior, take a look from Kiplinger. Your Medicare costs are set to soar. What to expect over the next decade? I mean, this is going to affect everyone. And look, if you are on Medicare or about to be on Medicare, I get it. You are bombarded right now as it's open enrollment. You're bombarded with different options, and it's stressful, and it may be tempting to bury your head in the sand and ignore all of it. But the last thing you want to do is not take action like the Democrats, right? We all have control over our lives, and we can do research, and we can be proactive. Look, if you're not proactive right now, the worst thing that can happen is you find out next year that your plan no longer covers your doctor or your prescription medication. And that's why I'm proud to partner with Chapter. They review every single plan with you so you can find the right plan for your needs. And guess what? If you're already on the right plan, they'll just tell you that, no pressure at all, and you can have peace of mind. So many people save over $1,100 a year with them, and on top of that, they find plans that aren't even listed on the official Medicare.gov website. So if you want to learn more, call 321-358-2297 or check out the link down below. It takes less than 20 minutes. Well, Obamacare premiums are set to skyrocket. According to the Washington Post, average Obamacare premiums are set to rise 30%, documents show. This will affect over 17 million Americans, and because I'm self-employed and have been self-employed for about a decade now, I'm going to be one of those people that feels the pinch of all of this. And so for me, this is personal. It's not just theoretical. It's not just, oh, this is the talk that's happening in D.C. and, policy debates that don't affect me. No, this affects so many Americans. And it is so disgusting that, like I said, the Democrats claimed Obamacare would do one thing, and instead it did the exact opposite. And personally, I think that was by design. I think you take a look at where the Democrat Party is going, right? Not just in recent years, but the long-term trajectory of the party and how they keep talking about, oh, take a look at the Scandinavian countries, or take a look at universal health care in Canada or in certain European countries. They all look to those as the gold standard, right? And so it's very clear that the Democrats want to lead us to a single-payer system. So my personal theory here is that Obamacare was meant to make the healthcare system worse, make it more expensive, so that there would be a public outcry, so that they would have an easier time pushing our healthcare system towards that single-payer system and having basically universal healthcare for everyone. I think that's the only logical conclusion that I can come to, and it makes sense, especially when you take a look at the fact that Obamacare was supposed to make everything cheaper, and yet, hey, things are more expensive than they've ever been. Well, it is not all bad news. It is not all dreary news. Yes, healthcare talk is terrible, and it hasn't been getting any better. But today we have new inflation numbers, and even on MSNBC, they were forced to admit that inflation is better than expected.
It's a Friday in 2025, so we've got breaking news on multiple fronts, including the economy. A new inflation report out this morning shows inflation rose by 3% in September, lower than expected. The markets are also reacting well so far as President Trump's trade agenda hits new roadblocks. Trump announcing on social media last night that he's terminated trade talks with Canada, taking issue with this Ontario TV ad, which uses speech excerpts from former Republican President Ronald Reagan to take aim at tariffs.
It's not just inflation, though. We also have new data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics in regards to weekly paychecks. So these have been adjusted for inflation. The blue line that's going lower is the numbers under Joe Biden. So this is on a monthly basis during Joe Biden's term. And you can see throughout his entire presidency, your paycheck did not go far. It wasn't even keeping up with inflation. Compare that to the orange line. 10 months into President Trump's second term, you can see we're above 1%. Now, 1% might not sound like a lot, but you're doing a lot better than you were under Joe Biden, and it at least proves that we're heading in the right direction. Look, the country was damaged for 4 years under Joe Biden. I don't think it's going to be able to be fixed overnight. President Trump has obviously done many things and incorporated many policies that I think will help, but these sorts of investments and these sort of strategic maneuvers, they take months, if not years, to take full effect. And so we're seeing that there. And look, you can talk about data all you want, right? We see the inflation. It's lower than expected. A good thing. We see weekly paychecks are higher every single month during President Trump's second term. Obviously a good thing. That means our dollars are going farther, even if we're not getting raises. But on top of all of this, the percentage of Americans who view the economy as the number one issue is at a historic low right now. And that's not just from me or the White House or from a Republican source. This is actually coming from CNN. The reason that's so important is because data, it doesn't always reflect, right? It doesn't reflect our lived experience. You can talk about the stock market and say, oh, the stock market is at record highs, but not everyone invests. They should be investing. You should, but like, if you, for example, are in debt or like credit card debt, medical debt, you might not be able to invest in the stock market, right? Or maybe you're just scraping by right now. You don't have that extra money to put aside. Like, I get that. So it's like these economic numbers don't necessarily translate to how we feel. And so when you take a look at this data, which I'm about to show you, that says fewer Americans than ever are concerned about the economy, it's not their number one issue. That means the economy must be headed in the right direction. In fact, on CNN, Harry Enton said that these numbers are just popping off the screen. So the number to keep in mind is 35%, typically going into a midterm election year. Next year will be the midterms. 35% of Americans say the economy is the number one issue. So that is your baseline, 35%. Let's see what the numbers say right now.
About. Well, you know, Matt was mentioning about the econ playing such an important role in last year's presidential election. The top problem facing the U.S. is economic. Per Gallup, last year, look at this, 43% at this time, 43% of Americans said the top problem was economic. Come to this side of the screen. It's just considerably different. We're talking about 24%. We're talking about a drop of nearly 20 points. And more than that, we're talking about across all of the different political groups, right? Democrats, independents, Republicans. We see that the percentage who say the top problem is economic has been falling through the floor. And more than that, you know, we're talking about inflation. The percentage of Americans who say that the top problem is inflation has also been falling, which is, I think, very much surprising given all the news that we are hearing about the economy.
It really is surprising. How does this compare to like the historical look at how people feel about the economy?
Okay, so, you know, let's talk about, we'll go through history, right? Let's take a look. The top problem facing the United States is economic. In the average midterm election, it's 35%. It's 35%. Look at where we are now. Again, it's 24%. It is lower. Fewer Americans right now are saying the top problem is economic than historically have said that the top problem is economic. So it's not only that the top problem being economic is lower than we were at this time last year, it is lower than we have historically been despite all the news about how the economy is supposedly softening. So you just look at these numbers and you just go to yourself, wait a minute, there's something going on here with the American public whereby you're getting all this economic news, but yet the percentage of Americans who say the top problem is economic has actually been falling and is lower than it normally is.
And that's not to say that the economy still doesn't have room for improvement. Of course, there is plenty of room for improvement, but I think people are less timid, less afraid because they see things getting better. They at least see gas prices stabilizing, if not coming down. They see, eggs on the shelves again. And I know for me, I'm not where I want to be financially, but I do feel better now than I did under Joe Biden. And so I think that's all people are saying. They're not saying, oh, the economy is perfect and there's no, that's not what people are saying. But if it's no longer the number one issue, that means you have the luxury to be worried about other things. And if you have the luxury to be worried about other things, talk about first world problems. I think that is a good sign. And that also means people like what they're seeing and they trust the progress that's being made so far. But of course, the mainstream media, they just won't have this. Look, it's obvious that the Drudge Report went off the rails a long time ago, but I still check it daily just out of habit. I mean, I've been checking it for decades at this point. You look at the top upper left-hand corner, government claims inflation 3%, real or fake. I mean, Drudge is just so deluded and so ill with Trump derangement syndrome that he now has to claim that the government is faking this data. And that's why I wanted to show you that clip from CNN. No matter what the data shows, the American people, what they feel in their pockets, what they are saying about their lived experience is an improvement, especially compared to Joe Biden. And so I think that speaks for itself. And even in the New York Times, they made it sound super scary. Just take a look at the second paragraph. The Consumer Price Index released 10 days late by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Well, first of all, it was released late because of the shutdown. They just throw that out there, nonchalant, super casual. Oh, it was released late, as if this is the fault of the Trump administration. No, it's because of the Schumer shutdown that this was late. This rose by 3% from the same time last year. Zero context here, and they compare it to the previous 2.9% level, which makes it sound as if President Trump's economy is worse, but they leave out the important context, which is the fact that it came in well below expectations, and that is a good thing. Last but not least, in today's video, the White House put out an epic troll on the official White House website. But before we get to that, I would like to acknowledge the members of today's Governor's Club. These are people who give tips and super thanks to the channel. They are Colleen Daly, Jenda Monero, and William Kaufman. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you're here and glad that you enjoy. Well, if you go to the White House right now, they now have a history of the White House renovations. And obviously the reason they did this is because of all the criticisms of the ballroom that President Trump is adding to the East Wing. And to be clear, a few videos ago, I misspoke. I accidentally said the West Wing a few times. Oh, wait a minute. Did you see it? It was a blink and you miss it. So, okay, yep. Talk about brilliant. So I love that they brought up Monica Lewinsky, Hunter Biden, and basically, the Democrats have been claiming that Trump has been defiling the White House with this, and that he has just been ruining it, and there's no precedent for everything he's doing. Yet that history right there shows us actually there is precedent for all of this, and that Democrats are just using whatever they can to attack President Trump because they have no solutions. They have no alternative vision. They have no message for America other than Orange Man bad. As always, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. That's what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So earlier in the video, I made the claim that I believe Obamacare was intentionally designed to destroy our healthcare system to basically force us into universal health care or a single payer system. Do you agree with that? Or do you think that sounds a little conspiratorial? And hey, it's okay if you disagree. Just let me know why or why not. Or even if you do agree, let me know some facts or something I didn't mention in the video. And feel free to go in depth. Even if I don't reply, I still read all the comments. And guess what? A lot of people read comments too, and they'll vote up the comments. And so I believe, and when I first started the channel, I was like, oh, comment for the algorithm. But now I believe that the comments are also a way for people to be informed. I learn stuff all the time from what you guys write in the comments. In fact, I'd say 24 to 33% of the stories I have in my videos are because someone left them in the comments or someone sent me an email. And so I do think it's a great way to share information and to let your voice literally be heard. Well, not literally, but You get what I'm saying. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.